Buddy. Hey, buddy. You wanna come join this train wreck that's about to happen? No? Maybe later? Alright. Maybe later. Roll the thing. Hey guys, Sean here. So this week I literally have nothing to make this video about. How do you know I literally have nothing to make this video about? That intro that you just saw? That took me like 3 minutes to come up with that. That's how bad it is. And so with that in mind, it's been 13 weeks since I've done a Grace Helbig style stream of consciousness video, so why don't I just go ahead and do that? You know, I should probably have Editing Sean make a intro graphic or title card for Stream of Consciousness videos using the help of the lovely people at videoblocks.com, but unfortunately, since I don't have the time to actually come up with a real video this week, he doesn't have the time to make said graphic package, so that will have to be like 13 weeks from now, maybe 2 weeks from now, not 2 weeks, 2 weeks from now it's going to be even worse. So, let's say 10 weeks from now, maybe, he'll be able to get that done. We'll see what happens. So as I was saying, don't have time right now. That's because the project I'm currently working on is barreling towards the finish line, and as a result of that, I am working at least until 8:30 every single night, potentially further than that every night, and 6 days a week. It would probably make more sense if I did it this way, 6 days a week, because this would be going through the week. This is going backwards through the week. But see, it's confusing for me because the viewfinder, when I have it facing towards me on this camera, it actually mirrors it. So like when I raise my right hand, it looks like I'm raising my left hand in the viewfinder. So when I do this way, it looks proper on the viewfinder, but it's not actually proper at all. That could be confusing for some, but not for me, because I'm a professional. I get at least $1 from my one patron on Patreon every month. Well, okay, that's not actually true because of how much Patreon takes out of it. Because it's such a small amount, the percentage that they take out ends up being a lot more. And then the transferring it to PayPal ends up taking out even more than that. So really, I make like 60 cents a month from Patreon. But the customer service people did promise that when I get more patrons, I won't notice it as much because the fee, I believe, for transferring to PayPal isn't a percentage base. I think it's just a set fee. And so when you only are getting $1, it's really noticeable. But if you were getting like $100, you wouldn't notice it at all. And then I think the percentage maybe changes somewhat. I don't know. I just took what they said as like, yeah, that's kind of what I figured, that it's because I have the one patron that gives me $1 each month. That's probably why it seems like I'm not getting as much money. Because, I mean, I'm not, but whatever. Really what it boils down to is I just need to learn how to advertise. You would figure that after going to VidCon 3 years in a row that I would know how to advertise by this point, but I guess that's not a panel that I've gone to yet, where it's like, hey, here's how to advertise your channel. That should really be something that they teach at one of the VidCons. I should recommend that to the VidCon Twitter account or send an email to, or something. You know, all that information is probably already on the Internet Creators Guild website that I just never go to, which I really should start going to. Hey, so a little interesting behind the scenes here. According to the audio recorder that I use, the Zoom H4n, to record the audio through the lavalier microphone, I have been recording on these two devices, the camera and the recorder, for 11.5 minutes so far. That is since the intro, so since the Hey Guys Sean Here part. So that shows you how much rambling and just utter garbage I have been saying for the last 11.5 minutes, and what I cut out, because as you can see, let's see, I gotta reverse it because of the viewfinder. It would be over here. That's how much time has passed in the video. That is not 11 minutes. I will not know how much time that is. That's Editing Sean will know how much time that is. And, you know, if I watch this video later, well, okay, that sounds really psychotic to say it that way. But yeah, I don't know how much time that is. If I had to take a guess, I would say that that is currently at like 2.5 minutes. Hey, you know what? Let's cut to a little bit of footage that I recorded when I first turned on the camera this evening. So let's go to that. Oh, you're almost touching the microphone. I have no idea what to talk about this week. Can you believe it? I am just completely lost. Yeah, so wasn't that adorable? That took up, what, like 10 seconds? Alright. This is basically what stream of consciousness videos have become for me these days, is me just kind of looking around my apartment for things that I can talk about. But since so many of the things in my apartment are around the subject that my job entails, I cannot talk about them. So that's always kind of a unfulfilling prophecy for me to do that. Is that even a term? Unfulfilling prophecy? I know self-fulfilling prophecy is a thing, but unfulfilling prophecy? It's not. It should be. Oh, there's something. So today, Disney revealed all of the toys coming out on Force Friday 2. If you don't know what Force Friday was, it was 2 years ago when Star Wars The Force Awakens came out, like a few months before the movie came out. They released all of the new toys based on Star Wars The Force Awakens, and that was on a Friday. It was called Force Friday. A lot of stores opened up at midnight, like all of the Targets. Well, not all the Targets, just like a few of the select Targets around the country opened up late. Toys R Us's opened at midnight so people could go in and buy all these brand new, never before seen characters from Star Wars and action figure form and everything. And I ordered online. Actually, I ended up getting 2 of them because I was so afraid that one of them wouldn't actually be fulfilled. But then I ended up selling the second one to someone at work for full price, so it ended up being okay. I mean, I didn't lose money on it, but I didn't gain any money on it, but that's because I wasn't going to shark someone at work. That'd just be rude. But anyway, I got the Sphero BB-8 figure, which you can control with your cell phone. And so one of the things that they revealed for Force Friday 2 is there's going to be, I guess, an evil BB-8 in the Star Wars The Last Jedi. I mean, he's not really an evil BB-8, he's just a Empire ball droid. I guess, do they call these ball droids? I don't know. They didn't actually say in The Force Awakens what the particular... they're BB droids, I guess, since he's BB-8. So there is a Empire version of BB-8 in The Last Jedi named BB-9E, which is a terrible name. Although, like, when they revealed the new character, well, not new, well, he is a new character. When they revealed the new droid, everyone was like, they should have just called him BB-Hate. And it was like, haha, that's so funny. And then Rian Johnson, the director of Star Wars The Last Jedi, was like, oh no, that's totally what we called him on the set. His nickname was BB-Hate. I mean, that's the most obvious thing to name him, so that's what we called him, but we weren't gonna... That would have made no sense if that was his actual name. It's a stupid joke. That's why we didn't name him that. But I don't think I'm necessarily gonna get the BB-Hate Sphero toy, because I don't necessarily play with this one that much, although he is really cool, and I should play with him more often. But it's just, I mean, he rolls around on the ground, and he doesn't roll very well on carpet, and then Buddy just walks over and takes his head off, because it's held on by a magnet, because it needs to be held on by a magnet so it can roll around the body, because when the body rolls, the head stays in one location. But one of the things that they did reveal is Sphero is making an R2-D2 figure that will be like this big and looks really cool. So I will probably get that. Sphero has made some really interesting tech lately. The first time I saw a Sphero was at CES like 5 years ago, 6 years ago maybe. And the original Spheros were just these balls, like, you know, little plastic, basically this, without all the decoration on it, and it lit up, and you controlled it with your phone, and it was just a ball that would roll around that you would control with your phone. And so then, when Star Wars The Force Awakens, like the first trailer came out, and everyone got their first glimpse of BB-8, Sphero was like, I think we could actually make that droid in real life, because the way that they did it when they were filming The Force Awakens is it was a puppet who had, like, a stick going into this side, and then another stick that was connected to the head, so that as the body rolled, the head would stay in one place. And Sphero was like, no, we can do that for real. And so at Star Wars Celebration that year, on the Force Awakens panel, they actually had a BB-8 roll out on stage. And the way that it works is that inside the ball, there is like a little gyroscopic motor that will roll the ball, but on the top of that motor is a magnet that holds his head in place, and then the bottom of his head has these little wheels on it. So people have made working life-size BB-8s that look really amazing. But yeah, so Sphero is making an R2-D2 that looks really awesome. His third wheel will pop out and he'll roll, and you can turn his head, and it looks really neat. They recently made a Lightning McQueen from Cars that, like, his eyes are an LCD screen, so his eyes can, like, express and stuff, and then, like, it'll move, and it's completely remote controllable. And that, I mean, I'll be honest, the movie Cars is, in my opinion, the worst Pixar movie that there is, and I haven't even seen like 4 of them. But yeah, I was not entertained by Cars at all. There's only one joke in the first Cars movie that I found hilarious, which was when Lightning McQueen goes in the tent and he's up on the stage and the spotlight hits him and it's complete silence in the room, and in the back of the room some guy yells out, "Free bird!" I thought that was funny. But other than that, no, I didn't find that movie funny at all. And then I never saw the second one because it was like, they were like, hey, let's put more Mater in this, and that was the worst part of the first Cars. But I was not the demographic for Cars, so I can understand it. Young boys were the target demographic for Cars, and as much as I'd like to pretend like I have the mind of a child, I really don't all the time. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I will try and get the R2-D2 on Force Friday. I won't go to a store and get it, and I'll order it online like I did last year, but I will only order one online this time because there's no need to order 2. Especially because if you just wait like 6 months, maybe, you just go into a Target and you can buy one. Because that's what happened with this guy. Like after 6 months, you could walk into any Target and buy him. You could probably walk into a Target now and buy him. I should really just take him to work and put him on my desk. Hello there! So just as a quick update, everything you've seen up to this point was recorded on Thursday, August 31st into Friday, September 1st. And what I didn't realize was that Force Friday 2 was actually Friday, September 1st this year. So it was actually going on as I was recording this footage. And as a result of that, today during my lunch break, I happened to pick something up. So yeah, I totally had no idea this was coming out today. I thought it was coming out 2 months from now, but here it is. I have it. I'm going to do an unboxing video of it. That will be posted later. It'll probably be late Saturday night because I'm not going to film it before Long Beach Comic Con, I can tell you that much. Anyway, back to the rest of the video. What else can I say about Force Friday 2? Another thing that was revealed today is that LEGO is going to be releasing a new Millennium Falcon set that is the biggest set they have ever released. It has like 7,500 pieces in it. It's the most detailed version of the Millennium Falcon they've made, because they've actually released, I think, we were looking it up today, they've released like 5 different versions of the Millennium Falcon since 2000, when they released the first one and when they got the Star Wars license for the first time and released the first Millennium Falcon, which I actually have that set, but no one wants it because it looks terrible. There actually is one version of the Millennium Falcon that came out like 5 years ago that sells on eBay for like $3,000, and it's really ridiculous. And that set had 5,000 pieces, and this set is going to be essentially the same, but it just has more pieces for more detail. And it's also the most expensive LEGO set that's ever been released, because the manufacturer's suggested retail price is $800. This is for serious collectors only. But as I said, the other one goes for $3,000 on eBay, so who knows, it could be a good investment. Although one of the side effects of this new set being released is it's actually going to drop the price on the other one, because the other one isn't as special anymore. It is kind of amazing just how much getting the Star Wars license in 2000 has changed the LEGO Corporation, and just how much Star Wars Lego sets have changed in the last 17 years. Here, I'll show you. This is a picture of the Millennium Falcon that I got in 2000. I think it was $100. I can't really remember. It was, you know, it was the most expensive Star Wars Lego set that they had. The minifigures were still the normal Lego minifigures. They had, you know, just the basic yellow face with the 2 dots and the smile. There wasn't too much that was custom made or anything. And that's what it looked like. It was like, well, that's kind of neat. And here is what the $800 Lego Millennium Falcon looks like. This one was probably like 1,000 pieces. This one's 7,000 pieces. This one's full of custom Lego pieces. The minifigures aren't yellow anymore, they're flesh toned. So yeah, you can see that's quite a difference in 17 years. Although keeping in mind that there are 4 other Millennium Falcons in that time. I like how I'm trying not to do anything that's going to give Editing Sean a lot of extra work tomorrow night when he edits this video, but then I ended up doing that garbage there. That shot in itself with the bringing up all of the Millennium Falcons there, that probably took 30 minutes to edit. Actually, Editing Sean, just put right down here, how long did that take to edit, just that one section? And now I'm adding more for him to do, adding how much time it took. So why does he have to edit it all Friday night and he can't edit any of it on Saturday? Well, that's because on Saturday is Long Beach Comic Con. Long Beach Comic Con has kind of become a tradition for me now because I live half a mile from the convention center. I can actually walk to it, and the last 2 years, well, no, last year I did. The year before I actually took an Uber to get there, and I was like, well, this was stupid. And I walked back from there when I left. I think I went 2 days that year, so the next day I probably walked there. And then last year I definitely walked there. However, I'm not too excited about this year's Long Beach Comic Con because there's really only one major special guest, and that is William Shatner. And I know what you're thinking, William Shatner, the Star Trek guy, that must be great. Well, yeah, I do love Star Trek, but I don't really like the original series all that much because it's just so dated. I know that's really weird to say, but it's like all the technology other than, you know, traveling through space and teleporting people, it's so dated. Like, the communicators themselves are less advanced than cell phones. And really, other than the traveling through space at warp speed, the ship itself, like the computers on the ship, are less advanced than modern computers and cell phones in general. So that's why I've always liked the later Star Trek series more, the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager. Yeah, if Patrick Stewart was going to be at Long Beach Comic Con, I would be like just beside myself with excitement. Or really anyone from Star Trek The Next Generation. I mean, even Will Wheaton, even though I met him at a previous convention this year, just like walking around. And since the only people that watch these videos are my mom and my stepfather, no, I'm not that excited to meet Denny Crane from Boston Legal. The only 2 things that are interesting about Boston Legal to me are the fact that it's the only show in history where the 2 main characters had won Emmys previously for those 2 characters as guest appearances on other shows. Oh, I really didn't want to do any research during this video, but let's quickly look it up. Okay, so James Spader won an Emmy for playing Alan Shore on The Practice. And then he ended up winning 2 more Emmys for playing Alan Shore on Boston Legal. Oh, and he won Best Lead Actor for The Practice. I thought it was just like a guest appearance on The Practice, but no, he was a lead actor on The Practice. And then Denny Crane, let's see. Yeah, Denny Crane was also on The Practice. I thought it was 2 different David E. Kelly shows, but no, they both won Emmys for The Practice. James Spader as a lead actor and William Shatner as a guest actor, and then they took those 2 characters and made Boston Legal, and again, they both won Emmys for Boston Legal as well. I mean, I suppose they're good shows because they won lots of Emmys, but I just, you know, I don't have time for that. Oh, and the only other thing that I find interesting about Boston Legal is that I did extra work on it. There was a scene where the two of them were wrestling each other in a wrestling ring, and I was in the crowd around it. So, there's that. The hell was I talking about? Oh, right, Long Beach Comic-Con. So another reason that Long Beach Comic-Con is disappointing is that you can pay to get a picture with William Shatner, which I completely understand. That's how conventions work. That's why these people go to conventions. It's to make extra money and getting their picture with the fans, and they charge them. That's how it works. That's how it should be. I'm perfectly okay with that. I've paid to get my picture taken with people. Here, look, Troy Baker. Here, Kevin Conroy and Lauren Lester. Here, Elvira. I paid for all of those, and then to have things signed, I've paid for that too. So I completely understand. It's just the fact that it is $80 to get your picture taken with William Shatner. Again, I understand completely. This is Captain Kirk, this is TJ Hooker, this is Denny Crane. But to me, personally, not worth $80. Patrick Stewart, on the other hand, I would pay $80 to get my picture taken with Patrick Stewart. However, usually if Patrick Stewart is at a convention, then the rest of the Star Trek The Next Generation cast is there as well, because it's usually a pretty big deal that Patrick Stewart is there. So that would be, I'm not sure how much those pictures cost, but you know, that would be something pretty exciting. And again, just now realized, made more work for editor Sean, because he had to bring up all of the pictures there. So doing it again. Hey, bring up here. How long that took. So yeah, next week you'll see if I found anything interesting at Long Beach Comic-Con, and I really hope I did, because I really need to have that far in advance the video shot, because I can't keep doing this record it one night, edit the next night, or the next morning and get it uploaded. I could really use the buffer there. But as for this week, that's gonna do it for me. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more of the crazy crap that goes on around here, I promise there's not that many Stream of Consciousness videos. This is actually number 7 out of 62 videos. Okay, that is actually kind of a pretty big percentage, but anyway, not the point. If you'd like to see more of the crazy crap that goes on around here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to help support the crazy crap that goes on around here and make those percentages that are taken out of the pledges a little less, go ahead and hit up my Patreon. And with that, have a good however long it is until you watch my next video.